Okay, so this chapter team, they have explored the topic about AI and inclusion, and their title is "In What Ways Could AI Contribute to Inclusive Education?" A very important chapter. So we welcome um, Thierry, Zheng, Michaela, and Onpawi for their presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing in case you want to share your PPT.
Okay, thank you, Chuti. Hello, everybody. I try. Um, Let me check. Should be this. Okay, hopefully you can see my
Yes,
screen.
yes.
Okay, great. And hopefully it will jump. Okay, so hello, everybody. We wanted to link AI and inclusive education with maybe a focus on K-12 education, but that's probably something to discuss later. So we are four, as you can see. I work in Luxembourg, and I will talk about an experiment in Switzerland. Zhang is working in England, but we will talk about an experiment in Japan. Ompawi is in Thailand, and Michaela is in Slovakia, and we will join their works in one of the sections. So what I plan is to show you the writing plan and then go deeper to explain what we have in the chapter. So we start with inclusive education and what it means from the different countries. Some general consideration on inclusivity and how AI could have an effect. And then we have three case studies to give some example and get some future directions. So about inclusive education in different countries, it's quite easy. What does it mean? In Luxembourg, in Slovak Republic, in Switzerland, in Thailand, and in UK. And then we have got a section about languages and special needs. And I wonder if this section shouldn't be in chapter 2. So chapter 2 is consideration about inclusivity and AI. So we try to have the teacher side and the learner side. And so about teacher's side, we went to four pillars: data management and grading. The way AI could help support the teaching workload mainly. So data management and grading, planning and differentiation, access for all. It means preparing supports, differentiated and multi access supports for the learners. And there is a part on effective adoption by teachers. And on the learner side, there is the fact of supporting multilingualism for inclusive education. So Zhang mainly wrote about grammatical error correction systems and code switching and mixed language learning environments. One of the maybe main differences, talking about the countries we represent, is about multilingualism, the percentage of multilingualism in the classrooms. Then we may have two more sections about supporting language disorders and supporting reading comprehension specifically. Those two subsections are not written, and one of my questions is, do we need them or not? We will talk about that in a couple of minutes. Then the case studies, we've got three. Maybe I will go a little bit faster. The first one is adaptive learning system in primary school. So that's the experiment in Switzerland I am leading at the moment and transferring it to Luxembourg. It was my initial pitch. So we've got games, we've got adaptive interface for the pupils to decide what they could use, how they could transform the interface, and we've got AI for the adaptive learning. And one of the results is transformation of the didactic situation, because the AI, the adaptive learning system, is part of the didactic situation. So there is a link between the learner, the teacher, the knowledge which is supposed to be in question, and the AI system. That's the first thing. So the triangle is not anymore a triangle, but more a pyramid. Second case study is about evaluating GEC systems with Japanese students learning English. So we are more with an adult public. And Zhang explained how the system they tested could have a high precision in grammatical corrections, but not find all the errors, especially because of multilingualism context and cross-linguistic interferences. So what I kept is value against quantity, and what is found is effectively an error, but all errors are not found, and there is something to do with the cross-linguistic interferences. Zhang, you will say more later, maybe, and better. And the case study 3 is the work of Ompawi in Thailand and Michaela in Slovakia, because Ompawi is working with adults on learning how to prompt effectively in a military context. And Michaela is working on the acceptance of AI by teachers, so especially with the TAM3 model. And one of the main point with teacher is how are they going to learn how to prompt, and then have a good use and an effective use of AI. So Gen AI in that case. So that's this section merges the two works to go towards adult use from teachers to learners. And in case of Ompawi, the learners are themselves teachers, if I think. So conclusion, we have 3 axes: co-designing AI tools with educators and learners, building inclusive training data that's mainly for the systems analyzing language, and the need to have AI literacy training in teacher education, because if we want the teachers to use the tools, especially to have a better inclusivity, we need to train them to do that. Maybe the last question for us is talking about adult users. How do we transfer those experiments, especially for the GEC system, to K-12 education, and then young writers, with all the specific errors that will be found in young writers' text? I think it's okay. Don't know how long it was. Thank you. I stop sharing.
Thank you. Thank you, Thierry. You have actually 30 seconds. Anyone from your team would like to add anything very quickly? Then we can go to the peer-to-peer feedback.
I can just say that was a very nice teamwork.
Oh, we are very glad. We are very glad that it's that's what I think helps create great work. So congratulations for such great teamwork. Now for the peer feedback, we have 7 minutes. So who'd like to go first? So please, colleagues from the other book chapter team, please proactively give feedback. Hopefully you took some notes to help this team. I'm going to just pick you if nobody speaks, because it's important that we support one another to improve the chapter. And I think because it's the first presentation, we're still breaking the ice a bit with that. I really like that you have, in your chapter, your team have focused on, depending on where each of you are coming from and what you were teaching. I think that's a very nice element. And also, actually, you also have a very nice Asia-Europe balance. That's lucky for your team. Yeah, so I think hopefully I'm going to invite Professor Hu to give some peer feedback for this team.
You mean feedback for the chapter?
Yes. So based on
Um,
what you have heard, what's your impression? Do you have any feedback for them to improve their chapter?
I think it's very very good from see the similar kind of approach for our chapter more like at the surface level of
Mm.
multiple dimensions, but this one actually goes to a little bit more detail in depth. I think I would say it's very good combination, because when I will present our chapter, and then you will see that in ours it's more like a
Mhm.
more covering multiple dimensions. At a methodological level, I will show you how do we do that. But yours actually give more examples. I think that's pretty good. And then I would love to read more for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything that you'll encourage them to improve?
Um, I have a different approach. So for the way that I have, right now that I want to see more data. In other words, if even it's not experimental studies, but more from community in different places about their views about the inclusion and others. It's right now, even the same, of course, right now, every single thing, there's multiple opinions, right? So the same thing here. So it would be good to collect diverse views on this.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Hu. And also on this, I want to mention that I'm not sure if you have a chance to listen to one of the webinars we did for the school collaboration, because we have shared the link with you as well. One of our session was on inclusive AI in education, led by Miss Lydia Kralla. She's very active in Europe with Council of Europe and UNESCO. So I think I will share this link with you again in case you want to have a look at some of the ideas she shared. Okay, now I think I'm going to request one more colleagues to speak up because we have more time for the peer feedback. So I will pause for, I think, 5 seconds. If nobody speaks, then I'm just going to pick. Anyone?
Can I share?
Yes,
Yes.
of course. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary, for very insightful presentations of your group of chapters. And then I have maybe two questions for your group. The first one is, so you present several definitions of inclusive education from different perspectives. So what is the exact operational definition of inclusive educations of the book chapters? And then I see you have the inclusion of 3 cases. So I wonder what are the criteria to select those cases? And then you mentioned that the focus of your book chapters is K-12 educations and then inclusive educations. So what make those like elements link together? So this is my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Difficult question. Well, the case studies are basically what we are working on at the moment, and we try to mix everything. And but for instance, when Michaela is working with primary school teachers who need to learn how to prompt, Ampawi is working in the military domain. So we had to think about how can we mix that. And the main thing is learning how to prompt. So and then we have to say that we think about how can we shift from one situation to the other one. So what will be necessary with primary school teachers to learn. Same thing with Zhang and me, maybe. We work on language learning. We have the key problem of multilingualism. But Zhang is working with adult students. I'm working with children at primary school too. And but correcting errors with children is very important. So and the cross-linguistic interferences is obvious with the children. So we have the same kind of questions. And then inclusive education according to countries. I will take one example. Michaela, you correct me if I'm wrong. In Slovakia, it's inclusive education will be merged with special education. When in England or Luxembourg or Switzerland, there is a sort of tendency towards no special education, and inclusive education is in the ordinary classrooms. I would say that's a bit that's too fast, but as a summary, but that would be an answer.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tom. Very good feedback. Time is up, so we need to move on. But before I move on, a big congratulations to your team. Very well done. And then we hope to hear more about the progress of your book on 3rd November, as well as during the conference. So with this, allow me to invite our next team. So it's led by Professor Xianggen Hu, together with Yizhang, Giorgio, and Ojita. So Professor Hu, the floor is yours for your presentation.
Okay, I'm going to do a very quick presentation of our work. So our paper, actually, we did not do a whole lot of discussions among our group. We only have a document shared, and we have a few ideas. So what we have before we proposed more like 5 dimensions of the human and then computer roles, because right now there are a lot of confusions, at least for the people that I interact with. They always there are 2 extremes. One is AI going to extremely just powerful, going to replace everything, and then the other one is, oh no, we need to hold on to some of the aspect of our job. So what I have is like I'm looking at the 10 dimensions of this, and now this is very long. We do not mean by having a long chapter like this, but basically making as a more like a methodological approach. You say, how can we divide our in this case, intellectual development of individual, and then how can we analyze them? So here's what I did. I made this app. I say, okay, now if you ask anybody, they probably have different views. What happens if we say we ask everybody about this? Each one, this is 10 dimensions. For each one of the dimensions, so you basically see, for example, this is actually hold on. For each one of the dimensions, you can change. So in other words, actually imagine that this is multilingual. Any language gonna work. For each one, you can change, and then you can change how much human wisdom will be contribute, and how much AI role going to contribute, and eventually you're gonna have every single one of them gonna have a weighted proportion for the intellectual development or intellectual well-being of the human. And also for each one of them, you actually can go in and looking at one of this one, you can basically have a discussion. So the entire paper is going to build upon this almost like a wizard type of things to collect data from all different universities and different educational institutions, plus different roles in education. So that's what I have. And also in each one of those, for example, for this one here, you can go in and actually specify all those 10 dimensions, and then what are those proportions for each one. This is almost like a calculator of calculating what you have. So well, after this, and then this, this is actually, I was able to, I used a lot of AI for each one of the dimension. I have exhaustive kind of things. For example, what the definition, the role of definition and roles, and the human contribution, and then AI contribution, and then your related impact, and also physicists on this. In other words, it's almost like it's a structural kind of format for this. And then if our chapter do not have enough space to cover this, basically 100 of those things. Remember, it's 10 by 10. At least we can go to one of those more detailed dimension, and then dimension dive into, and then methodologically trying to say, okay, here in the future, if we want, right now we're looking at the intellectual well-being of our human, right? Now, if we really want to go to other disciplines, say, okay, here, manufacture, how much we think AI will be part of this entire process, and this is more like analytically to dig in and get the data out of it. So I'm imagining this chapter provide this kind of methodology, and also the data collection process going to be eventually. For example, in this case, let me just go to here. This was the five-dimensional one. So now if I go here, so if each individual go in, and then this is actually the side of human, HW is human versus AI. So if I go in, and then you can go to each profile, each one of the profile, you can compare with your own, and then with others. Let me see, go to the profiles, and you can actually compare with yours, and then with others, peer comparisons. So in other words, I'm looking at this chapter. On one hand, we're focused on education and intellectual well-being of our of us or your students, and then looking at how much we have AI today, and AI human division today, how much in 5 years, and also we can imagine how much do you think is appropriate, because I know that we know that some of the thing that we need to hold on very tightly. For example, education of our kids about the moral standards, about the value, we probably want to hold on very well. Not it's almost like when kids when my kids is asking meaning of life. I'm a father. I'm the only one that I'm qualified, and I'm obligated to give the answer instead of anybody else. The same thing in our education, we probably hold on the same way, and that's this chapter is about. So in any event, so this is I'm going to share with my we talked to my co-author. 5 dimension is not enough. And then I want to make it even more almost exhaustive at a higher level, but we're going to dive into the specific ones, not only provide the way we analyze, and also provide the tools for everybody to analyze data to share globally, because this one here, it's supporting 150 different languages.
You have 1 more minute.
Oh, 1 more minute? That's enough. That's
Okay.
what I want to share. Yeah.
Okay, then you save us 1 minute. Okay, thank you so much, Professor Hu. Now we are going to go for the peer feedback. Who is going to give feedback first?
Yeah, my co-author, one of my co-authors is actually here, so I want what she thinks.
Of course.
Maybe.
Okay,
Yes.
Yi Zhang there.
I think Yi Zhang is here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah, cause our group. Yeah, this is my actually I have a question about the tours. So I guess could you share your screen again? Cause I want to know who will be our audience, who will be our participants, and yeah. Cause we
Okay.
need to analyze the data. We need to analyze the data. So I want to know the. Yeah. We cannot. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one.
So actually, this is the general tool that I have. It's actually let me go to the dashboard. Okay. So basically, what what I want to do is, one of the things is, I'm a psychologist myself. Really look at how human wisdom and the AI,
Mm-hmm.
and what are those boundaries? Because right now, as the way that we had in the meeting, actually, last one in the global smart education, the last question I ask right now is, where do we actually do not have to ask what AI can do or not, it can do everything in the future. But we just have to ask
Exactly.
what do we allow AI can do. So where human wisdom and AI, where is the boundary? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what this website I built is for.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically for this, for the example that I have, the example that I have, it's actually, for example, the available surveys. This is actually five-dimensional survey. Okay, five-dimensional survey. But I would like to also have all others, not only in education. I want to also have in manufacture, in everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So this is more like a methodological kind of approach, but this one can be used for intellectual well-being, online education, for example. So I want to sample. I want to give like a service for educators everywhere. In our prospective universities. I say, okay, from your university, if you're teaching mathematics versus teaching, education, what do you think? So eventually we're going to have almost like a landscape of views about AI and the human, AI and the HW in this case, and then see what, how this goes. Because right now, everybody with their own views. I have been, having all extreme views, but this will be very, very beneficial. So our chapter almost say we lay out the methodology and then go through the specific dimension, one or two dimension, and then analyze it. Because this tool also does the following. So let me see here. Where's the also does the, let me see, my 10 dimension here. Not only this one here, just very, very quick.
Mm-hmm.
Not only go to this one, you actually can interact with one. You can go to subdimensions, and you can actually chat about it.
Okay, so it means that we can let our participants to chat with this AI chat assistant, and then they can rate the AI wisdom or human wisdom, right? In this way.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
exactly. I know. Yeah, I see.
At least personally, I feel like I myself, for example, if you ask me, I say, well, maybe I got up in the morning versus after reading a paper, after watching a YouTube video, I will change my views. And also, I want to use this tool as say, hey, before we have a seminar, this is your view. Are we actually changing people's view after we have, quote unquote intervention, after we have, like a talk or something? So this is really looking at the way that we cannot escape it. AI is going to be invading our life, destroy our life for some of them, and then we just have to do that math. Now, if this one actually beneficial, then we probably can inform policymakers, inform the public what we should do.
Thank you, Professor Hu. Looking at the time, I think let's take one question. I think Thierry, you were raising hand before.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, Jyoti. It's a very basic question. Maybe you said it, but I didn't understand. Who is going to fill in the survey? Anybody or people at the
Well,
university?
in this paper, we have 4 co-authors, and for the initial data, I will basically making our co-authors to do the survey for our
Okay.
own university to really have this paper. Okay, now I know that the life of one publication is not going to stop at the word the published publication. The impact would be more. So I'm expecting, if we actually have this book, really looking at the core issues of AI and our society, right? And I can imagine the long impact of any one of our papers. People read and cite your papers. But I would like to have this one here. This not only have this one, this chapter going to be alive by feeding data from all different places. And I can starting with the 4 universities, but I'm imagining if this is actually, concerned by other countries, others, because I work with UNESCO in other places, different country, different, technological background, they all want to ask those kind of questions. It's not like I invent the question. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Thierry. Any other questions? We have 1 minute for this team. I think, Omar, you raised hand before. Would you still like to ask? Please keep it brief.
Actually, it was answered already.
Okay,
And
okay. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so then allow me to share my slides again. So congratulations, Professor Hu and your team. Great work, and hopefully, with today's after today, you will also hear from other teams and improve the chapter further. So let us move on to our new next team now, led by Mei Cho Min, and their topic is integrating artificial intelligence into education, enhancing pre-service teachers' artificial intelligence readiness. So Mei, the floor is yours. Apologies, I forgot to mention. So the team, Mei is leading together with Omar, Aaron, and Thion.
Good afternoon from our Asian country and good morning from the European country. Today, I would like to present about our book chapter on behalf of our book chapter team 10. Our topic is integrating artificial intelligence, enhancing the pre-service teacher artificial intelligence readiness. This is our team member. In our book chapter, first we introduce about the rules of AI in education in the introduction session, and also the rules of teachers for integrating AI into education. After that, we will mention about our methodology, and then we conducted the systematic literature review, and then we conducted the semi-structured interview from each country, and after that final discussion session. This is our chapter of purpose of our book chapter purpose. The first one is to examine the pre-service teacher AI readiness for integrating AI into education by systematic review, and the second one is to probe these results, and then to add the benefits and challenges of integrating AI into education, and the final one is to suggest the strategy to enhance the pre-service teacher AI readiness for integrating AI into education. In the introduction session, we discussed about the rules of AI in education, and the rules of teacher is very important for integrating AI in education. And also we discussed about the teacher knowledge, skill, attitude, and competency for integrating AI into education. After that, we discussed about what kinds of factors are influencing for AI readiness, pre-service teacher AI readiness. In the second session, we divided into two strategies. The first one is systematic literature review, and the second one is making the short semi-structured interview. In the systematic literature review, we make the PRISMA guideline, and we selected from 10 studies. The selected study depending on the eligible criteria, and these studies are from the Asian country, both from European country. And then these studies also included for the survey, semi-structured interview, or focus group discussion, both the quantitative and qualitative study. And then we will the factor influencing for the AI pre-service teacher AI readiness. We summarize about related with the theory of planned behavior. briefly discuss about the systematic literature review. In this session, we discuss about the attitude and vision toward AI, and all those the attitude toward AI and passive usefulness and passive use of AI, and also discuss about the training opportunity and familiarity with AI, and also the accessibility of AI. And then the next one is knowledge of AI and competency to use the AI, and also the confidence to use AI and technology set efficacy, and also the trust in AI, and also consent about AI. Discuss about these factors and related with theory of planned behavior. After that, our next session is conducted the semi-structured interview. Our team member, the interview question are constructed by based on the systematic literature review themes. After that, we will translate to our language and we made the interview. This is our 4 countries from 1 country from Europe, Malta, and 3 countries from Asian country, Myanmar, Philippines, and Cambodia. After that, we discuss about the each country interview result based on the by conducting the thematic analysis. After that, we recommend about the discussion session. In this discussion session, we also discuss about the finding or our interview result, and also related with the previous study, and then how to enhance the pre-study teacher AI readiness, giving the suggestion and advice for the strategy based on AI readiness and attitude and perception about AI. And we also discuss about the AI literacy, and then the last one is AI set efficacy. And then in this discussion session, we also discuss about the benefits of AI and risks of AI by the result or our interview from each country, and send perspectives are the same common things and standard differences. We also discuss about it. For example, the benefit is increasing efficiency or correction skill and feedback, personalized learning, reduced workload, and creativity and inclusivity. This is all result from our country. And then the result AI, we discuss about the plagiarism and cheating and privacy risks, reduce human interaction and also the social relationship, and bias and misinformation, and reduce thinking skill. These results are discussed about based on our interview from each country. After that, we combine about this thing, and then we also mention about the same strategy to enhance the pre-study teacher AI readiness for integrating AI into education based on our systematic review results, and also combine with the empirical study of the interview result. Thank you for your attention, and do you have any comment or suggestion? And also my co-author also they also add could you more information about it?
Thank you so much, Mecho. Exactly 7 minutes. Really appreciate it. Okay, so let's see if anyone raised hand first. If not, please feel free to speak up. Yes.
But very clear that the training is much required, and to start from the initial, actually, to be part and parcel of the course. They were familiar with some tools that are present, like ChatGPT and so on. However, they needed much more training for eventually how to integrate in their lessons and so on. Evidently, also came up as already have been mentioned by Dr. May, the issue of cheating and this concerns about how to address this as teachers and so on. Thank you.
Thanks, Omar. Anyone from outside the book chapter team for feedback? Perhaps those of you who has not spoken yet can speak up. Any feedback for this team? You have to help each other out. So please, yes, Thierry, thank you.
Yeah, I've got because you talk very fast about the theory of planned behavior. I never remember this name. How do you link what you are doing to the planned behavior? If
Yeah. It's according to the theory of planned behavior, for individual behavior is related with about their attitude. And then the second one is subjective norm. It means that the social pressure, perceived social pressure. And also the last one is related with the behavioral control. It means that these are useful or concerned about it. These three kind of things is related with the pre-service teacher behavior to use for the AI in their teaching or in their practice. That's why all the factor and then we are divided and link and align with the theory or like that.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Thierry. And for everyone's reference in this team, mostly they are actually teacher trainers, although Mecho is in a university, but they are mainly all the team members coming from like Omar with the Ministry of Education in Malta, and the other colleagues from Cambodia, and Theon as well as Aaron from Philippine Normal University. They all are in a situation where they're really working with teachers and training teachers. So that's why the focus is also on the readiness. Any other feedback from colleagues who would like to support this team with insights? Anyone else? They have some time. I see, Matthew, you were smiling. Perhaps you have a feedback for them.
Yeah, sorry. I just think that is very interesting point, and also that. But I have one question: that what is this literature review for? I mean, the major outcome for this. I mean, this
Yes.
review.
Yes, our literature review made it. We are linked is combined in the introduction session, and we main focus on theory of planned behavior is the main focus. After that, we combine about the educational philosophy or the constructivist learning theory. Because of the constructivist learning theory, the learner have to be added or combine about it. We emphasize about this part.
Interesting. Yeah.
Thank you, Matthew. I saw Jiang Yi raised hand. Yi Zhang.
Hello.
We have two similar names here.
Yeah, a very quick question. Sorry
Yes,
that
yes.
camera work. So very interesting work. If I understand correctly, you conducted the literature review and then came up with the survey and then translate that into different languages and then the analysis across different countries. Can I ask like what is the sample size? So yeah.
The interview is with 3 to 10 pre-service teacher. We interview about Japan on the country. We are making only for the interview.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. I think like if because I think you have some you draw some conclusions. I think it would be very interesting to see if you see any differences like across different countries or across or any differences between like the European countries or like Asian countries. Like in terms of like teachers' attitudes like towards AI or that's something. But just as a suggestion. But like very interesting work. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your this is the good question. We also introduced about this an Asian country. For example, they are mentioned about the internet access or infrastructure. There is related with their AI set efficacy or like that. It's a little different with the European country. Or we also mentioned about it this kind of idea. Thank you for your good points.
Thank you. I don't think anyone has any questions. I don't see any hands raised, so we'll move to the next team. So congratulations, Mecho, Omar, Aaron, and Theon. We look forward to more updates on your chapter for the next deadlines and also during the on-site conference. Now we welcome our next team, led by Tom, and the chapter focuses on the impacts of AI implementation in education on students' critical thinking skills. And just for a reference, Tom, I think you were focusing on ASEAN region, but we gave a feedback before, not sure if you have noted it, to make it more Asia-Europe context as opposed to ASEAN. So I took that liberty to change your title here instead of ASEAN, so hope that's okay. Okay, the floor is yours. Let me just quickly look at the time so that you can begin. And yes, Tham is leading the chapter together with Serene from Thailand and Patrick from Austria. So you can share a screen. Okay, we can see it.
You can see my screen now?
It's loading. I think it's almost there. So maybe, yes, I can see it now.
Okay. Thank you, Chelsea, for your recommendations. So later I'm gonna ask for your help for your recommendation to include the European context. So I just report what we have done so far. So with the introduction, sorry, mention again. We're gonna focus on learning progress and critical thinking, a systematic review and meta-analysis. So let me first move on to the introductions. We have several concerns with AI, and research gap is notable in terms of most study focus on Western environment, not the Asian context. So it led me to the 7 research questions. The first 6 I focus on systematic synthesize the learning approaches employed AI application or tools are being utilized, the advantages and benefits. The 4th one is the limitations. The 5th one is what factor influence the successful integration of AI. And the 6th question is the future directions. And the final one is to compare the 2 environment, one AI enhanced and one traditional ones, to see the final verdict. And we have 2 parts. The first part is systematic review, focus on the Prisma 2020 guidelines and the database used for extracts the data come from 4 sources: Web of Science, Scoba, ScienceDirect, Google Scholar, and those are search terms I use to collect the study. And let's see here. This is the inclusion and inclusion criteria for us to collect the study from those databases. We have participant, we have research design, we have variables, we have publication type, and the language. And as you can see on the screen over there, at first we collect more than 1,500,000 study from the database. And through the screening process, we exclude most of them and also 16 studies that meet all the inclusion criteria to move on to the systematic review and meta-analysis. And for the first research questions, for the 16 study, we draw off some insight for the teaching and learning approaches. So most of the study use the problem and project-based learning approach, a phenomenal-based learning approach, adaptive personalized learning system, and focus on AI literacies. For the second research questions, what are the tools or application of AI used in those studies? Most of the study report use Gen AI, which is ChatGPT's a very famous recent day, and some AI chatbot, AI driven writing, and they design their own platform for coding assistant, for AI speak recognitions, adaptive learning platform, etc. And for the third research questions, the advantages they point out is most of the study report that with the AI implementation, help the student to enhance their learning outcomes, personalize the learning process, so the student is more engaged and motivated to learn. And with the efficiency and automation of AI, that help the student to accelerate several tasks, and it helped to contribute to the promotion of the 21st century skills such as high order thinking skill. And for the four questions, the challenges and limitations, there are several limitations point out from the systematic review. First one is the technical limitations. The second one is ethical and academic integrity. The third one is infrastructures. The fourth one is human factors. And the fifth one is related to the research design limitations. And for the fifth questions, research questions, what factors influence the successful integrations? So those study point out that the learning attitude, system quality, institutional support, pedagogical alignment, and the curriculum integration and teacher trainings are those main factors that influence the successful integration of AI. And for the sixth questions, what are those future directions and pedagogical implications? So the future direction point out from those studies research advancement, which means that larger and diverse samples, cross-cultural validations, technological and ethical refinement, human AI collaborations, pedagogical positioning, teacher training, and curriculum reforms as those future directions of the systematic review results. And move on to the meta-analysis to seek the answer for the research question number 7. So we use the effect size metrics, which is hedges to examine the overall effect size for the study that report sample size, experimental mean score, and control mean score, and also their sample size. So the overall effects 7 study were included in the meta-analysis because they provide the sufficient data for us to conduct the analysis. So the pool estimate indicate a large and statistically significant, which means that the AI enhanced environment significantly outperform traditional settings. And all the individual study reported positive effects, as you can see on the pool effect over there, and the significant values of the meta-analysis. And next, I want to check for the publication bias to see if there's a publication bias among those included study. The 2 tests that I use is FORCE-FN and eager regressions also report no bias in the publications process. And next, I want to analyze the heterogeneities of those studies. We found that a substantial initial heterogeneities amongst the study, and I want to investigate why is there big differences. So I include a moderate analysis, which is the moderator is the country, and I see the country truly influence the differences across the country in terms of the effectiveness of AI implementations. And this is the publication bias assessment. This is the thematic regression to check for the country if the country play a big role in the differences among the study. And but when I include the country as the moderator, the big difference remains significantly. So suggesting other moderator access, for example, the participant characteristic, the study design, and other etc. demographic factors that might include to create this big difference. And later on, I checked for the sensitivity analysis. So no include study were clear outliers. So this is a good result. And then the conclusion and discussions. So diverse pedagogy approach and tools are used in those systematic review and meta-analysis, and significant benefit that AI enhanced learning outcomes, personalization, engagement, and persistent challenges. And then key success factors is user attitude, system quality, institutional support, teacher training, curricular integration and pedagogical alignment are crucial, and the overall effectiveness of AI learning environments significantly outperform the traditional settings. So these are several limitations of our review and meta-analysis. Small number of eligible studies.
Your time is up,
Persistent.
Tom, if you can wrap up.
Okay. I finished. Thank you for your attention. Okay.
Thank you, Tom. Now, let's hear from some peers. I'm going to request those who have not spoken yet. So that's Michaela and Valley, and who else? I think some of you don't have the video on, so I cannot really see, but yes, so let's start there. Maybe you both can share some feedback, or other colleagues who have feedback, please feel free to speak up.
Can I just generally ask for a more analytical take on your results rather than the descriptive overview of the results? So how do you interpret them? What's the analytical take, and what is the kind of the theoretical angle from which you want to analyze your results?
So sorry, can you repeat your question again?
So the findings, the initial findings, are quite descriptive. So what is your analytical kind of interpretation of these findings, and from what angle can you? Because I don't think I caught the kind of the theoretical guideposts through which you're examining you're looking at your findings.
Okay, so I have two sections in my collecting data and analysis. The first one is for traditional systematic review. So 16 study include, and I try to read the full text and categorizing the common themes of those 16 studies to answer my research questions. And for the final research question, number 7, I want to compare the effectiveness of AI implementation environment with the traditional environment in terms of student learning progress and critical thinking. And I only extract the data from those studies that provide mean score, standard deviations, and sample size. So only 7 studies that reported. Then I put it into the analysis and see the overall effect size that indicate the effectiveness of AI implementation environment outperform the traditional environment. So this is what what we have up to now. Yeah.
Did you get was it helpful, Valley, in terms of what you
No,
asked?
no, because I don't understand, but I
Yeah.
want to understand what is the motivation. What is the theoretical kind of starting point? What motivated you all of these questions? The research questions are quite a lot, so this is like a really massive scope. And then I do see that there are the findings, but they're still rather descriptive. So what is that telling us? If you're looking at correlations, effects, and so on, but what is this telling us? Let's say from a pedagogical point of view, more of an critical analysis, and you're actually saying that you're engaging with this from critical pedagogical perspective, or I don't know, sociocultural perspective, some kind of more critical, more analytical engagement in terms of your conclusions, rather than just, well, this is the descriptively. But perhaps you could think about that, just take it as a feedback, but you don't have to answer now. You can just think about this.
Of course. Thank you, Valley. Yes, exactly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so this is what we want. I think until you exactly hear what you are looking for, please ask, because that's how, we can support each book chapter team to really improve their work. And also for Tham, if for example, Valley's question is not clear, you can reach out later since we have limited time so that she can, you can ask for clarity. Professor, who you raised your hand, please.
I do have a question about this kind of study because any conclusions about the previous studies kind of it's very, very hard to have a long-lasting impact For example, right now, if anybody write a paper about GPT 3.5, nobody read about it, right?
Yeah.
And then now you can say, well, oh, this is no matter how strong your conclusion you have right now, is almost stamped with the technology today. And technology changing, every day. For example, suddenly, OpenAI have like a learn and teach and learn, and it just change the landscape completely. So unless you have like a methodological kind of, that's what I mentioned, if you say, oh, it doesn't matter what technology we have today or tomorrow in the future, but this one, not focus on the conclusion, but focus on the methodology. So we use this one, actually can draw conclusions for can study the, phenomenon, whatever technology at that day. I think that's probably more a stronger message or more impact for the chapter like this. Instead of say we have a stamped technology today, and then people say, so what? We're not using it anymore, right? So that's something that at least if you I think you probably that this kind of chapter probably will make more impact if you were more consider what kind of you're basically things about happening yesterday or happening in the future. So that's what my comments is. This is actually not only your chapter. Any chapter talk about the technology today and grounded by the technology today will have a short life, I think.
Thank you, Professor Hu. Hopefully, Tom, you have all the feedback, you and your team, and then based on this, and also especially with the Asia-Europe context, because you are currently focusing on the ASEAN and C context. Yes.
Can I just say very quick
Yes.
feedback, my impression? Maybe I misunderstood something, but I thought the title of this chapter is about the critical thinking skills. So, but for the whole, the literature review, the meta-analysis, I feel it's quite broad. It seems like invest AI in education in general, what system tools has been used. Has you really focused on critical thinking skills? Which tools has been used to support? That's my impression. I haven't really hear about that. It's more general tools in education rather than focus on critical thinking, what the design principles has used, what the output. So that's probably when I read the title, I thought that's what the answer I'm going to get. But maybe I missed something. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lee, for first of all making time to join this session. So Lee is one of the editors, as you know. Really appreciate your feedback. We don't have time, but however, Tom, if you have any questions that you would like to ask these reviewers, I can convey to them. So please send them to me. Or if you want any clarification on these feedbacks, I'm happy to help with that as well. However, very good feedback. Thank you so much, Valley, Professor Hu and Lee. Now, with this, let's move on to our next presentation. So we have two more. So this and then later and one more. This book chapter on AI agent for dialogic teaching and learning, a design framework for pedagogically sound engagement, is led by Matthew, also known as Shengpeng Shi, together with Xiangdong Wu, Pir Zhou, and Fei Jiang. Matthew, the floor is yours, and you have 7 minutes to present and then 7 minutes for peer feedback.
Okay. Could you see my slides? Okay. Yeah. So previously, our proposed title of is the design principle, but we are still doing the data analysis. So that for this session, I just show the initial funding of our case studies. So. But the theoretical framework is still the dialogic theory. So that the dialogic theory aims to every theory, to answer three big question. Why should we learn? How we learn? And what should we teach or learn? So that in dialogic theory, or that, the most cutting edge version of dialogic theory, that is that to become more dialogic, to know how to talk, how to communicate ideas, think deeply, and collaborate with the others. So that is the one of the theoretical underpins, and another is that how should we teach and learn, that in this AI age, that perhaps we can learn from dialogue. This dialogue is both that peer dialogue, teacher-student dialogue, also AI enhanced dialogue. So dialogue as a teaching method can be flexibly integrated to a lot of teaching practice. And then is that what should we teach is not only for the knowledge, but also for being inclusive and being creative and active in the teaching and learning process. So that is the theoretical underpinnings of our research. And then that based on this dialogic theory, we try to develop and train, try to train how that AI agent can enhance this kind of AI agent dialogue. So that is the basic concept. So, and we also did a little bit, literature review on the previously artificial intelligence, and also this kind of generative AI. So, through this kind of narrative literature review, not a systematic, but currently that the big difference is that the previous AI is reactive and is based on the recommendation system, and this kind of is a single loop. But with the emergence of the interactive, this kind of dialogue become interactive, and also there's a lot of human AI interaction. So this is kind of a double loop knowledge construction. That is what is the difference of AI agent. So that within that, our main hypothesis would be that whether there is the human AI this kind of interactions with AI agent. So that is our research question. So, and the first question would be that, the theoretical perspective would say that there's a potential that AI agent could have that human AI intelligence, but how to design, or what is kind of the design principle to train the AI to really beyond that knowledge transformation, but also become the dialogic cognitive partner that drives innovation or intelligence. That is one of the main research questions. And another would be that what kind of cognitive functions that AI can be done. So that my team member, that Dr. Wu has developed through many times iterations to try to develop his AI agent, which called Mr. Wu. 胡扯的吴老师 in Chinese. So that this is kind of the, we did quite narrative coding to analyze this. Sorry, it's mostly like in Chinese, but we have another team member who is conducting the literature review on the Europe, how that AI agent to do that. So, but this is current based the data collected by Dr. Wu, that Chinese AI agent, how this could interact with a student, is a secondary school student. It's quite interesting, but I need to translate all this into English. So, but our current finding is that AI agents function. So first, through our data analysis to this kind of coding and counting, and also this narrative thick description, that first AI can very good at deep questioning. For example, if I ask a AI agent a very simple question that the AI is very, very good at, I mean, keep questioning the students and to make the dialogic space or dialogue become deeper and deeper. And another is that the AI agent is very good at facilitating knowledge connection within that context. So that if a student asks a very historical question, so that the AI agent can, I mean, make this single knowledge connected to another within this kind of human AI dialogue. So that is another function of AI agent. And another is that that AI agent is very useful and good at inviting different perspective. I mean, because I mean, this AI's big data base. And also that another function that AI is very good at is the reflection, the logic line. So for example, the DeepSeek that, I mean, that there's a lot of this kind of logic line. So that's the green I highlighted this is that what AI is very good at for. But through our, I mean, initial data analysis, we found out that AI is not good at in requesting supporting evidence. I mean, this function, my explanation would be that AI is keep, I mean, provide an answer for the student, but
Sorry, Matthew, if you could wrap up.
AI, okay.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay, last sentence. Yeah, it very, AI is not very good at request and the student to provide the evidence. That is AI is not very good at. And another point is that AI is very few to, I mean, to ask a student to drive application. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Now we are looking at some peer feedback. Who'd like to go first? I think, Professor, who you might have some comments, because I think considering the human AI area, I think this is your familiar area. Would you like to comment first?
Me, right?
Yes.
I was just going to send him a private message. I did a conversation, chatting quite extensively, and also I did conversation-based tutoring systems, and then in this one, there are actually a lot of other ways the conversation can go on, right? For example, right now you're talking about dialogue. There are also trialogues, like a quadruple, and then also group discussion, and also roles, right? So maybe in this chapter, and I can join your chapter because I do have quite a few other ways that make AI talk to human and then analyze data, and then I have like the non-psychometric models of analyzing conversational data. So I will help you if I'm worthy of co-author. I will happy to do that. This is good.
Oh, that's much appreciated, Professor Hu. Thank you.
Okay.
So that's very generous of you, Professor Hu, but I think you have your chapter to write, so we will see how we can integrate
I will
your
help.
contribution.
I will help as much as I can.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. Any other feedback from other colleagues? Michaela, so far we have not heard from you. Perhaps you have some feedback?
Yes, you haven't heard from me. And this one specifically is something that I feel I don't have feedback for or any questions because it's not my expertise, and I don't cover that area of the AI. So I'm sorry I don't have the feedback, but I would love to hear more at the conference.
Thank you. Jiang Wen, I see that you raised your hand, please.
Hi, thanks, Jody. Matthew, nice to see you again. I just have a quick question. Towards the end, you mentioned like AI agent. Am I right to understand that by saying AI agent, like in your setting, it's more like conversational AI or like a chat box or something like that?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, it's more like a chatbot, but currently that I mean, I just it's like a prompt engineering, so that I mean, just provide some instructions to this AI agent. But we could also that for now that both Tech or another technology that we can also to build up that knowledge base, but it is still not very that technical like you, Dr. Zheng Yuan. So it's not involved the coding or programming.
Yeah, but that's actually quite interesting to see. For example, like for people like you and how you interact with this kind of like AI, like existing, like off the shelf, like ready to use like AI models, and how like what's kind of the reception or reaction, something like that. But yeah, thank you so much. Very, very interesting work. Yeah, look forward to reading more.
Thank you, Jiang. Any other feedback for this team? They have some time.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yes,
can I
Lee,
say
please.
Yeah.
excellent to see this progress already. But I'm just wondering, those principles, how those principles emerged. Maybe I missed something. This final you
Yeah,
have.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is a kind of the initial data analysis correct because the those the design principle is not the design principle now, but that's all of this six function is based on the dialogic theory, so it's kind of hypothesis, so that the theory that informs us that kind of that what could the potential of AI agent, and then that Dr. Wu that developed AI agent. The first thing is to test whether this will happen, so that the two right function is that it is not appear a lot. So that is only the first iteration for our research.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Lee, and thank you for the presentation, Matthew, and we wish you all the best for the remaining chapter development phase. And with that, congratulations on finishing this milestone to you, Xiangdong, Pizhou, and Fei Jiang. So with this, let's move on to our last presentation for the day. We are almost there, and we would like to welcome Vali and Stefan and Matteo, and their chapter is Guardrails for AI in Education, Governance, Oversight, and Shared Responsibility, and the chapter is led by Vali. Vali, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to see Matteo also joining us. I have a feeling that, Stephen's timing is not good because he's based in New Zealand. But do you see my screen? No, you're seeing black, aren't you?
It's loading.
Yeah, it will take a bit. I may as well just start since the clock has started, I believe.
Yes.
Okay.
The moment you start to speak. So I'm waiting to press.
I'm sorry, just let me know if the slides are loaded because I'm still seeing it just that.
Yes.
There it is. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
So we are three authors. Matteo is with us. I just don't understand why. Okay, the slide is still loading. So Matteo Stecchetti, Stephen Powell, the three of us, along with contributions from the whole ASEF community, we will add some acknowledgements at the end. So we begin with the question: when an algorithm marks a student's exam or flags them at risk, who makes sure this is fair and accountable? So that is the heart of this chapter that we've been working on. We argue that governance is not just how to use AI responsibly, but whether and under what enforceable guardrails AI should be used at all. And our core claim is that governance belongs to all of us, students, teachers, leaders, community, communities, not just vendors or distant ministries. It's not just reserved for specific experts on governance. And we provide a definition following some literature review, and we define governance as the rules and practices that decide how AI is used in education, and co-governance, which is kind of the key takeaway from our chapter, one of the key takeaways, as sharing that responsibility where government, schools, teachers, parents, including or guardians and students all have a voice in shaping and overseeing AI in education. In fact, we look at co-governance. We look at Jill Dodson's, who puts co-governance, that means sharing power, arrangements in which ultimate decision-making authority resides with a collaborative body exercising devolved power, where power and responsibility are shared between government and local stakeholders. Now, our main kind of book chapter objectives are, first, we wanted to map the governance gap. We want to identify first what is happening in realities in these two different contexts within the Asian regions and European regions. We acknowledge that there is an AI adoption that is very fast, and the guardrails, whether it's through standards or legislation, are lagging behind. And secondly, we use two guiding directions to understand what is happening in practice across these two geo-regions. So we use co-governance as kind of a pillar, whereby, as I mentioned earlier, it means power shared among governments, educators, learners, communities. And what does that mean in practice? And the second pillar is the commons-based AI, whereby treating all these different components, data, models, infrastructure, as public goods, stewarded for collective benefit. So it's for the common good. And using these, we kind of identify what's in place. So we want to understand what is in reality, what is the practical, the tangibility of governance, and what is not in place. Where is the gap? And we concretize the agency. So who are the stakeholders, and what are they doing or not? What institutions, educators can actually be doing now or not, alongside what should be done systematically. Our methodology is quite an eclectic. We use interdisciplinary lens, so we look from human rights perspectives, both human rights as education is a human right, critical pedagogy. We look at collective commons because of the idea of AI for the public good, and we also consider multicultural perspective. We bring our own bias. So, for example, me coming from a European context, and we kind of wanted to, check each other out to make sure that there is no bias ingrained in what we write and how we research. We use cross-regional survey insights from educators, policy actors from Asia and Europe. Thank you so much to the ASEF community who have been fantastic to respond to our survey. We've mapped risks, asymmetries, current governance practice, and we pulled out brief case profiles from both Europe and Asia to illustrate how principles such as transparency, fairness, human oversight, this sort of elements of governance are there in practice or where the gaps are. We do very brief kind of governance modeling across the Asian European context, although this is not an exhaustive list to understand what is there in terms of governance top down and more practically, but it was more to kind of set the tone of what governance means rather than do an exhaustive literature review. And then in the more practical term, we used a survey. So we built a questionnaire following the literature review. We asked a set of questions. So we developed the survey. We distributed among ASEF community because there are practitioners, there are representatives from governments as well, from different levels of education. So it was quite a rich, diverse feedback that we could gather. So we wanted to understand the familiarity with the different tools, what tools are already used in individual contexts, the policies and governance mechanisms that are already implemented, and provide links to those as well. So we've captured quite a database, and policies relating to governance, certain practical things that we captured, like anti-plagiarism standards, data impact assessment. What are the instruments that are being used in terms of governance in the field, on the ground? And we also asked positive and negative concerns relating to the AI tools that are already being used. It's just a snapshot, but you will see some of these findings in the chapter. Some of the key insights relate to the risks, that there is the understanding of risks is quite uneven across the different regions. Perceptions of AI risks are diverse, fragmented, often implicit. The respondents, for example, from European context, were commonly talking about AI governance instead of stemming from the new legislation that is available. Then in more Asian contexts, for instance, the risks were acknowledged indirectly via data privacy, cybersecurity elements, so things that are not directly relating to AI. There was also some kind of a conceptual blur, so some respondents conflated general online risks like screen time, internet safety, and unique issues relating to AI. Again, practice-aware educators, there was even without policy teachers were named real risks. So there was already on the ground strong awareness and strong kind of perception around the risks relating to AI. There was also some kind of policy vacuum in deployment. So many tools enter classrooms without regulatory clarity. And this was across the regions. Even though there were frameworks, there were already instruments being mentioned, it seems like there is no consensus around or clarity what is actually can be used or what is being used at a systematic, like an ecosystemic level. And then in several contexts, teacher review override is the primary safeguard when AI flags are grade students. So the teachers are like the key, soldiers on the ground dealing with that overall. And again, the responsibility is often pushed to schools, teachers. That was like across the board. We pulled out several case studies, how we selected them. So we looked at the diversity, geographic diversity.
Hi, Vali. Sorry,
Yeah.
the time is up. If you could wrap up in like 30
yeah.
seconds.
Okay. So we we have quite a lot of very interesting case studies because of the rich feedback that respondents provided. And as a takeaway, our chapter is providing a couple of tools on how can we implement co-governance in practice. So this is a screenshot of, this is not a tick box exercise, but rather creating awareness and building agency from teachers from the ground up on kind of practicing co-governance. And a very quick acknowledgement to all the ASEF respondents. It was fantastic, very rich feedback. So thank you. That's all.
Thank you so much, Vali. I want to really congratulate this team because they have started their work very early on. And they reached out, they had a very comprehensive survey, and then we were able to give feedback on the survey, share the survey. And also very early on, they, followed up, gathered the data, analyzed the data, then had follow-up questions, and we were able to help with that. So I think the team worked beautifully. And for that, big congratulations, Vali, Stefan, and Matteo. We are really excited about the progress of your chapter. So I think your chapter is an example, a model also for the other teams because of, how organizedly you all work together. So congratulations. And with this, we are at the end of our presentations for today. However, we still have the peer feedback for Vali's team. So who would like to go first? Yes, Professor Hu.
This is great because right now everybody's asking about the governance and even at the university looking at the guidelines. And then I was able to trying to do the kind of review and some of the most liberal kind of guidelines versus how most the conservative ones. One thing that I was not seeing very often is the guidelines for the teachers. Because, right now, if you really think about maybe the worst abuse is not the students, it's actually the teachers. Teacher get one click of an entire lesson plan, and then the program have no idea how to get it. The AI just get it. Now, if the teacher study using AI like the irresponsibly, almost like a plagiarism, how can we really ask our student to not do it? It's like in Chinese, like if your son is doing something bad, it's your father's fault, right? So 子不教父之过. The same thing. If the entire campus, everybody is cheating, I think that's the teacher's problem. It's not the student problem. So do you have any ways of comparing whether, I would love to see that, the same guideline in two campuses, and one campus have a very, very, good teacher's behavior of, responsible using AI. The others, the campus do not have. I would see dramatic differences. So that's probably also shed some light on about the future. Are we really looking at how to put a governance on the students, or actually the educators, the first line of defense, to do that? And I did not read the detail of the chapter, but do you have those kind of surveys? That's my because actually I wrote an essay about the reciprocal kind of things. If we really want that, the educator do what is right, and our student will not be that wrong. But on the other hand, if we are really not responsible for using AI, we cannot do anything about the students' use of AI.
Yeah, I think this is an excellent comment. If I understand it, it has kind of two ways to look at this comment. Is it possible to compare or two and two different kind of on the ground types of practice on governance? And the second, if I understand you correctly, is how do we make sure that there's that shared responsibility? So it's not just the teachers; it cannot just be the teachers alone. And that's exactly why we wanted to discuss these two things from the point of view of co-governance. And our instrument that we're providing, it looks at, okay, so what is the responsibility for the student? What is the responsibility for the teacher, for the school lead? Clear, practical ways of really concretizing, if I'm the student, what do I need to know, or what do I need to be transparent and accountable for if I'm deploying an AI? And then the same thing for the teacher. So that's the shared thing. And I think the template that we provided is kind of really a contract, as it were, between students and teachers that can be done as a commitment. That's part of the governance, the co-governance thing. In terms of comparing, I guess, yeah, that's probably agenda setting, like a research agenda setting. We could think in terms long term to see how we can compare what happens on the ground. But right now, what we captured was really chaotic. And as you're saying, yeah, teachers are trying to figure this out. Matteo, if you want to join, please go ahead.
Thank you, Veli. Thank you very much. Yes, we've been discussing actually the relative focus on responsibility. And of course, this is a preliminary work. We hope Veli has so much energy, which I don't, but I will be glad to do what she says needs to be done. But if I can pick up from your sentence, in China, of course, they said the father is responsible for what the son does. I remember my Kung Fu teacher was telling me also that the emperor, however, is responsible for the fathers. So I think our attention is not to the father and the kids. Our attention is to the emperors, which are the state and the corporations. So teachers, in my perspective, they are as victim, potentially, as students. They have to comply with programs. They have to obey to managers who tell them to use AI without giving clear prescriptions. And of course, that is, we don't talk about faults or whatever, but there are issues with responsibility because managers very often are inclined to comply with the hype of the corporations without really understanding what they're buying. So this is a preliminary work which looks at guardrails, which are usually established institutionally. So it's not up to teachers or students, but to parliaments, regulators and stuff. And our interest, like Veli put it very effectively, the key is the co-governance concept. We have to broaden participation. We have to enable effective participation through competence. This is a huge work. But the result from that perspective is, a glass is half full and half empty. There are places where people don't even know what they're talking about, to put it bluntly. And there are places where they start to understand the importance of certain regulatory aspects in the direction that we are suggesting. For example, another kind of technology called public AI, we just mentioned it. Most people don't even know about that, but that resolves a lot of issue when it comes to participation of broader public into the design of technology, which is eventually used in education.
Thank you, Matteo. Any other feedback? We are running over time actually, because compared to the other group, we have one more presentations here. So the other group I think left. So if we don't have any other feedback, I think we can. Yes. I hope everyone is okay to stay a bit longer. Really appreciate this. Yes, Matthew.
Yeah. So from the classroom setting, I mean, I previously do my PhD study, I have a shared responsibility between the teacher and the student. That is to keep the process of teaching and keep progressing. So make that, I mean, the process of teaching and learning happen. That's perhaps the shared responsibility for the teachers and the learners. So that is just, I mean, a suggestion from this perspective. Yeah, and I also very interested in this AI governance that for more macro level, like Matthew taught that. So that perhaps I have a feel of that is, yeah, for example, the capital status. I mean, for example, the world is not only the Beijing, Shanghai, London, America, but there's also the rural area. So is that in the developed area that actually the use of AI is I mean, to keep that digital divide or AI divide that become more severe, or so I think that is very interesting. I mean, point from that macro level. That's really that. So I think that AI ethics is also involved, that whether it's equal or inclusive, that if I mean students or teachers that use AI directly without any thinking about their social or capital status. So very interesting.
Thank you. Can I just super quickly, yeah, this is absolutely spot on. That's exactly why we wanted to capture the realities from these different perspectives. And we do it indeed had a lot of diversity at the micro level. That's the whole idea. Because it's one thing for state to say, well, we're going to use all of this technology, but ultimately in the classroom, it's like a micro world. And what happens there with the individual students, you just cannot put a one size fit all. And that's the part where we wanted to understand that co-governance gives you a little bit of, the instrument to ask, does that make sense for me, the student, for me, the teacher, to give this micro level of agency, micro level of a better, strong, powerful questions, me as the teacher, how can I govern this? How can I control what is coming in and how are we using this, or how it works, or what the limitations of these tools are? That's exactly what we're trying to do, and look at these different contexts and realities. So we'll see at the end. Thank you very much.
So thank you again, Vali and your team, and to all the teams who presented, congratulations. And let's close this session with some key updates. Just to reflect on this very quickly, you have another deadline coming, which is, on 3rd of November. So we don't have, sorry, when you share a screen, sometimes this happens. I cannot. Okay, yes. So the first one related to the book is on 3rd of November. So second book draft submission. So hopefully today you heard from peers, and based on that you want to improve, or you have your own ideas in terms of progressing with the chapter. And then in addition to your book chapter, if you want to present an additional paper or presentations during the conference, so you can do that. The deadline is 15th of October. And this will be put into another publication as well, also with Sprint and Nature. And this publication submission directly will, if you want to submit, will go to our host institution, Beijing Normal University. So that's Matthew. So please send it to Matthew. If you have any questions, feel free to write to us. I'm also happy to, help you with this if you want to know more. And the link is already in the PPT. We will share the PPT later. So, and also in the program. So please have a look at that. And then your conference presentation submission is on Friday, 7 November as well, because we don't want you to stress about your presentation during the conference. I think you are already working on the book chapter. It should be fairly easy to put together a slide. And then, of course, we are very excited to meet you during the face-to-face conference in Zhuhai. If you have not done your registration, please do so as soon as you can. My colleague Angie, she's actively reviewing the flight proposal. So if you are waiting to hear from us, please know that we are trying our very best to review as soon as possible, because we have another conference taking place next month. We are also a bit occupied with that, but we will get back to you in due time as soon as we can. So thank you so much for your understanding on that. Omar, I see that you raised your hand. Do you have a question?
With regards
Yes.
to 15th October, I understood that this should be a full submission. I mean, with all the research, not just an abstract. Am I right? Just to confirm.
Yes, for October 15 one, you will, of course, submit a draft. It's, of course, with the all elements. However, the team will look at the draft and then let you know whether your paper is selected for presentations or not. And then you will have some time to work on it and then revise it. And they will also follow up with revision questions. So it's a first full draft submission, not necessarily the final one. Yes, Michaela.
I also have a question about the visa because I already asked in the WeChat, but I want to just confirm.
Yes, we know.
Are we required to have the working visa, or is it possible to enter China on tourist visa and attend this program?
Yes.
Or
thank you, Michaela. I think based on the research we have done, so sorry, we forgot to get back to you. And I think because your passport is also, you were currently in renewing. So we thought we had some time. I think Slovakia doesn't need visa to China. Please double check with your embassy. I think we checked already. You can go for a short I think whether it's a business or a study or a tourist, I think for some countries it's allowed. Like I know colleagues coming from the UK with British citizenship, they have to apply for a visa to China. But some and like Czech Republic, some of the countries you need to apply. But some countries like Hungary, Slovenia, Slovakia, I think they don't need. So please check back with your local embassy. Maybe write them an email.
That's why I'm asking, because for tourist visa I can enter for like 90 days without the visa.
Exactly.
But if there's like if it's classified as a working trip or
it should be okay. But I think let us also get back to you. Matthew is here, who is from the Houston institution. I think Lee is here. We will check back with them to double confirm. Yes, Lee, I think.
Can I say something? I think you don't need to apply for work visa. You just, because if you don't need a visa, then just come. You don't need to apply for
exactly.
Visa.
Okay, thank you, Lee. Yes, Vali.
I'm sorry, this is probably, just very quick question about logistics. Do we make our own travel arrangements and hotel accommodation and things like that? Do we book? Do we start booking from now?
Yes. So regarding that, let me very briefly share how this works. So at the Asia Europe Foundation, the way we work is your hotel accommodation is directly taken care of by us. So when you register, we already note down that you confirmed your participation and it's already booked. The travel, however, it's on a reimbursement basis. So you will have to book your own flights. However, before you book, you need to first make sure that you don't need a visa. And then during your registration, you submitted a proposal, right? Travel proposal. And we are reviewing it. And then if everything is okay, we will get back to you. Sorry that it takes time because as an intergovernmental organization, it's our duty and we owe it to our funders for accountability purpose that we check everything. So for that reason, often we have to review very carefully. And sometimes that takes time. So we are trying our very best to get back to you as soon as possible, hopefully by the end of this week or early next week. Once you hear from us that your travel is okay, the proposal is okay, then you can go ahead and book your ticket with the fact that you already have a visa or you do not need a visa to enter China. And then you will have to keep all the official receipts like the e-tickets, boarding passes, and everything. And then we will later send a reimbursement request form that for you to fill up. In addition to the flight your travel cost for the flight, we also will provide a lump sum of 120 Singapore dollars to help you with the airport transfer. So you can use it however way you want to, whether to take a bus, taxi, or you can use both ways, but it will be a lump sum of only 120 SGD. I think my colleague wants to share something. Yes, so we will also send a travel details form. So, during the registration, it's at the approval and review phase. But after this, we have another process where you will have to let us know about your exact travel plans once you sorted it out, and also with our approval. So that will go your way soon as well. Yeah. Yes. So my colleague and I, we just sit next to each other, so easy to just sort this. And also, Lee and Matthew is here from our host institution. Is there any advice or any guidance you would like to share with them before we close the session?
Not much for me, but it's really just for the symposium. If anyone would like to share their work, because I always thought this is another opportunity for people to share their work, then they're definitely welcome to submit some papers.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lee. Yes, we highly encourage you to, because it's another opportunity for you to publish a paper and also share your work. So if you have any questions, you can either reach out to Matthew, Lee, or me, and then we will help you accordingly. Just a quick note again, also for your accommodation, please check your invitation letters and the practical information booklet. We stated everything very clearly, but on the accommodation questions, we will provide accommodation for 5 nights. So checking in on 11th, check out on 16th of November. And the first day of Expo on 15th is fully supported by us. We will provide transportation and everything. But on 16th, it's a checkout day. And if you want to, let's say, go to the Expo for another day, you have to make your own arrangement. That's the only note we want to share. Any other questions from anyone related to practical arrangements? So I think with that, please look out for email notifications from us, since it's a crucial period for the on-site as well as the book chapter. Please save our emails as well. We will send another update email wrapping up this session and also sharing the recording of the sessions, and then share the template again, and also any other advice we may have to help you prepare for the on-site trip. Angie and Rekha, do you have any questions or any comments before we close?
Thank you so much. Just reporting from the other room. We heard very interesting presentations today, very good discussions as well. And hopefully it was the same in the room. I'm sure it was. And you found it useful to see also where the other teams are, what are the synergies across your papers, and what would be the way forward until 3rd of November, where we really very much look forward to receive your full draft. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Rekha. So I think with that, a big thank you for your patience, very long session, and also for staying back. And we wish you a very good day in Europe and a very good evening in Asia. Thank you. See you in Zhuhai.